Hello and welcome to Visual Ancestor, and in this instruction video I will show you how to upload a photograph into a group to start your archiving process. I am not the very best explainer, so I apologize if I'm a little hard to follow, but I will do the very best I can for you. Now, in the last instruction video I made, I actually showed you how to create a group. And so we're going to be beginning our process of actually uploading a photograph at the group profile page of group 20033, which you can see at the top here. And over here on the right hand side, in a Windows Explorer, I have a sample photograph. Now there are three separate files that comprise this photograph, or that has captured this photograph. I have the front, the full front view, I have the back view, and I have a modified alternative kind of restored view. And the first point that I want to make, and I want to stress it very significantly, is that when we want to preserve our ancestor photographs, we always want to upload the original scan of the entire photograph, front and back first, unaltered as they are with all of their imperfections. Imperfections is a wonderful thing for photographs to have. If we have alternative views, like this third view up here, where we've had the photograph restored or repaired, that can always be uploaded as an alternative quote-unquote side or side view. So side A is always going to be the front, and that is a universal rule here. Side B is always going to be the back, if you have the back scanned. And other sides, like a C and a D or an E or an F, can be alternative views of the photograph. So now that that foundation is kind of laid, let's go over here to the web app. And I am in group 20033. If I need to get a list of my groups, I can either come to the page here and drop down the pancakes on the top right. And if I choose groups, of course, this is one way to get the master list of groups for the library. But in the main viewing area here, I am presented with the groups that I have made. And I'm going to upload this photograph into this group, Father Side 20033. If I happen to know the group number of the group that I've created in the past, I, of course, can scroll down here and choose it from over here, but it should be listed over here as well. So let's click on Father Side 20033 to enter the group, kind of looking at the profile. And currently I have no photographs archived into this group. Let's change that. To change that, I am either going to press the Add Photograph button down here, or the same button exists up here. Both buttons will bring you to the exact same place. And when I press it, I am now coming into the process through which I can upload and archive my photographs. This is a 4-step process, and we try to break it out and make it as easy as possible. Step 1, Step 2, 3, and Step 4, because there's a little bit to archiving a photograph. So breaking it up into steps is kind of the easiest way that we could think of to do it. The important thing to note is that once I drag and drop photographs to upload them, as soon as the upload happens, the photograph gets a number, gets an entry in the database, and is essentially uploaded. The rest of the steps, like Step 2, Archive, Step 3, Specify the photographer, Step 4, Identify persons, they can happen later. The photograph is already saved. You can always come back to the photograph and complete Steps 2, 3, and 4 all independently. That is to say, as I move from Step 1 to Step 2, all my information is saved. as I go from step 2 to step 3, all of that information is saved, and so on. So if you don't have a lot of time, you just want to get the photos up there, you're free to do it, and your photos will be saved. This particular video is only going to show you how to do step 1, which is upload your photographs or your scans. Interesting feature here, since we don't have anything uploaded yet, these drag and drop boxes are empty. There's no files chosen. Step 2, 3, and 4 are grayed out, and I cannot click on them. And I hope that makes sense because we don't have a working photograph. As soon as I upload the photograph, that will all change. So how do I upload a photograph? Well, it starts with preparation. So as I already mentioned over here on the right, in a Windows Explorer window, I have my 3 JPEG files that comprise my photograph, front, back, and an alternative view. So these 3 scans I am going to upload in three different steps or maneuvers, and they will all be presented together as the photograph. So this is one photograph, just 3 scans. I already mentioned this, but I just want to read it off of the page right in front of us, that scan A will always be the front of the photograph. Unaltered, full scan of the front. Scan B will always be the full scan of the back, unaltered. So just keep that as a universal rule all the time. If I have alternative views like I do here, I can upload them as a scan C. Or if I have several alternative renditions or views of the same photograph, I can go all the way up to scan F. I can do other things like if this photograph was originally framed, I might want to scan the framed photograph and upload that as an alternative as well, just so that people later on can see that the photograph was framed and this is how it looked like. However you want to do it. So to upload a photograph, I can either do it the old-fashioned way, which is press this button, choose file, and I'm presented with a whole bunch of folders, and I can go here, select one of these files, open, and then press the upload button here, and that will do it. Or I can just take advantage of the drag and drop. So let's do the drag and drop. So over here in my Windows Explorer, I will click my mouse and grab the full front scan, and I will drag, place it into the box where it says drop here, and I will let go. I will not touch the mouse until this finishes. I'll let it do its work. And here, as you can see, I have a note. Scan A has been added as part of item 20033-101 in group 20033. So it says item, it doesn't say photograph, and that's just because I can pretty much upload what I want in here, although our main focus is photographs. But I can upload postcards. I might want to upload a letter, something like that. So just to make it more universal, it is called an item, but we are dealing with a photograph. The photograph number is listed here. So as soon as I uploaded that first drag and drop, it got assigned the number 20033-101. And what this means is that the photograph number actually contains the group number within it. And so this is really photograph 101 in group 20033. And that's just a real quick, easy way of just preserving the group with the photo number all together as one. Okay, let's do the back. So I am going to drag and drop the full scan of the back onto scan B. So let's drag and drop, and I'll let it go, and I'll let it do its thing. And now we have scan B being added as part of this photograph. Now we have an alternative view here, something of a little cropped, restored version. And I'm going to drag and drop that as scan C. So let's do that now. Drag and drop, scan C, done. So now we have an A and a B, which is pretty much the most important parts. It's the original photographs, and I have a scan C. So now technically I'm ready to move on to steps 2, 3, and 4. Now notice that, as I said before, because I now have scans uploaded, so I actually have a working photograph, steps 2, 3, and 4 are now able to be selected, and I can go there and I can work on those steps in following, which I'll do as separate videos, separate instruction videos. But what I want to get to is down here below where I drag and drop the files. I have a section called licensing, and there is the license called public domain standard is selected by default. And what that means is for these photographs, these are ancestor photographs, pre-World War II time frame, pre-1940-ish. So these generally, most likely, I can't really say all the time, but you know, the vast majority of the time are going to be in the public domain. And so the appropriate license that will govern how these digital assets are used is going to be set to public domain standard. I don't want to get too much into licensing here, but I can drop this down. And if I had a photograph that was not in the public domain per se, I do have some choices here. And these choices will communicate to people that come and view this photograph exactly what the licensing is. And you can read more about that here on the website, and I'll probably do a video about that separately later. Below this licensing section, I also have several buttons here where I can save, I can cancel out, basically do not save, or I can save and then proceed to the next step, which would be step 2, called archive item. So now that we have scans and uploads, I'm going to select save and next. And now I have just moved to step 2, archive item. I could have just pressed step 2 up here as well. The instruction video for this will be a separate video. But in closing, let's go back to group 20033, and let's now see what it looks like now that there's a photograph uploaded or archived into it. So here is the profile for group 20033, my father's side, from a box of photos found in my father's attic. I can see under group photographs a thumbnail view of the first one that we just uploaded. And over here in this, this area on the left where it lists out all of the photos in the group, I now have a link to photograph 20033-101. And if I click that, I can now kind of like drill down into the actual photograph view. Not too much to say about this. Again, I'll do another instruction video on what is here, but just in conclusion, I am now looking at the results of my archiving efforts. So I have the front and the back, the A and the B. I have information about the photograph here, the photographer, which is step 3 of archiving, which we did not do. That'll be a separate instruction video. Comments. Here's the licensing that I touched upon real quick. Facial recognition section. And if I scroll all the way down below the facial recognition section, this is where my additional views are displayed. So that is the process of doing step 1, archiving your photographs into an existing group. So thank you very much and have fun.